Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and here we go on episode number 6. It's been a little late on this episode. We were supposed to release yesterday, but I was just feeling it had been a really stressful week. I was feeling a little under the weather, and I was like, I don't know if I have any time to do it Sunday, because I was just like, I just need some time to relax and unwind. So, which is why you're getting a late episode today. But to start off our news, thank you for first joining us again. I hope you are at work or on your way to work or at home or doing a workout, wherever you may be. Thank you for listening to us. And without making this any longer, let's get right into our first story of the day. So our first story of the day comes from India, and it's a story that I heard that apparently there has been a gas leak in this little part of India. And the article went, the leak occurred on Sunday morning in the city of Ludhiana, leaving 11 people dead and 4 in the hospital. The area was sealed off and residents were evacuated after many people reported breathing difficulties. The cause of the leak has not been officially confirmed yet, but reports say that the high levels of hydrogen sulfide gas were detected in the area, and district officials had said on Sunday that a chemical may have reacted with methane in manholes to produce the deadly vapor. And the article continues on saying about how different people with different family members had spoken out about, their families that did die, or their family members that did die, and that kind of stuff. And it was just sad to see, people who were coming and saying, hey, my brother was involved in this, or my sister was involved in this. I know that there was even animals that were involved in the deaths of this. There was some people who had seen a cat that was dead on the street because of the vapors that this gas leak was producing. And it's very tragic, and I feel so bad for these people, because we all know that gas leaks are such deadly and silent killers that it's hard. At first you're you don't really detect them, and sometimes you can detect them by the smell, but sometimes you can't. And it's one of those things where at first starts to slow and then just gets worse and worse. And they can do so much damage. And sadly, a lot of people died from this. And I really wish we had an answer as to how this happened. But it doesn't look like we have any answers on it at the moment. But it does say that the Punjab government has announced a compensation of 200,000 rupees, which is about $2,445 or 1,945 euros, to the relatives of the victims, and 50,000 rupees to the injured. And there was a guy there who was like, the money doesn't matter. My family is gone now. How is that going to bring them back? And that was heartbreaking, having to... I understand the government trying to do their part and being here's some money for compensation. But at the same time, like that guy said, his family is gone. He doesn't have the people he loves, the people he wants to be holding at this moment. They are not there anymore. And the government wants to treat it as if, here's some money that might help fix it, might make you feel a little bit better. And it's not. And I appreciate that the government has given them something, but at the same time, they had to realize that money isn't the answer to everything. It's not going to fix these people's broken hearts, and only time is going to be able to do that. Time, prayer, God, vibes, whatever you believe in, the best of them is going to be able to help these people, you know? And it's a little sad that they have to go through this, but I I pray that, you know, they find some peace and they find comfort eventually, because I know losing a close family member or just losing anyone in general is very tough. So our heart goes out to the people in India who were involved with this accident, this gas leak that happened over there. And at least my prayers, I'll keep them in prayer. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, what is prayer going to do? But prayer can do so much. At least I believe in prayer, and that's my belief. And I'm not trying to shove it down anybody's throat or anything, but at least in my belief, prayer does help, you know. And if I can just kind of say that, you know, I hope God helps them find comfort and helps find healing through this, then I feel like I can do something compared to not being able to do nothing at all and just say, here, you know, I know about this news and that's what I can do about it. But definitely, you know, our hearts go out to them, and I thought this was a story I should share, because I feel like a lot of the times the governments always think that money can fix everything, and sooner or later they're going to have to realize that money can't fix everyone's problems, and I hope that they can do better. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think the government could have done more than what they did? I don't know if it was a failed inspection of something or whatnot. I'm not sure, but let us know in the comments what you think could have caused this gas leak, and if you thought the government was right for giving the people the money, if they should have gotten more, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And now we're going to pass on to our next story of the day, which is our Am I the A-hole stories. And this one, the title got me, and it was like, am I the a-hole for telling my best friend his girlfriend is disgusting? And I read that title and I was like, I gotta find out why this thing is. And honestly, when I first saw the title, I was like, it's probably a guy who told his guy friend about something that she did, and my mind just went down this rabbit hole of it being a guy. And I don't know why all of a sudden I just thought it was a guy to a guy. I don't know. But then I got to reading and it turns out it wasn't. But here goes the story. I, 22 female, have been friends with Danny, 22 male, since high school, and he recently moved in with his current girlfriend Lucy, 22 female. They had a housewarming party on Friday, and Lucy spent most of the night dancing with her own friends, who were very like her, excitable, extroverted, etc., and dragging Danny away from his conversation with us, his friends, to dance, even though he's more like us, introverted, not party animals. Later, Danny was being quiet, so I asked if he was okay, and he said, I'm just tired, but he just kept watching Lucy dancing, then said something in her ear the next time she came over, and she just shook her head and laughed at him. After she went back to her friends, I asked if it was bothering him how she was behaving, and he asked me how to explain myself better. I mentioned the attention-seeking dancing and the fact that she was wearing something really revealing, even though other guys were at the party. Danny said it didn't bother him, and then sat with a moody face. At the end of the night, Lucy sat down with us and started chatting non-stop about how amazing the party had been. I pointed out jokingly Danny obviously wasn't enjoying himself since he looked miserable, and Danny told her I was worried he was jealous because of her outfit. Lucy ruffled his hair, which he hates, and said he was quiet because he loved her outfit so much he couldn't wait for us all to leave so he could drag her to bed. I thought that was completely inappropriate and said to Danny. In that case, I'd leave if she was just going to be disgusting, and Lucy just laughed at me, so I did leave. Today, Danny has messaged me saying Lucy wants an apology before I'm allowed back in her home. But when I asked if Lucy will apologize for making me feel uncomfortable, he said no, she doesn't have anything to be sorry about. I was generally only worried about my friend, but admit I could have just left without calling her disgusting. So, am I the a-hole? And they do a small update to clarify. To clarify, I didn't say the comment about her clothes directly to Lucy. I asked Danny once, then never mentioned anything over sexual. Then never mentioned it again. I asked him because I know in the past he said something about he doesn't like clothes that are over sexual and it makes him uncomfortable. He's not the kind of guy who makes innuendos or anything. Also, I'm in no way jealous of Lucy. She's the opposite of how I'd want to be, which is fine. People can be who they want. And Danny and I already tried dating years ago, but the spark wasn't there, and it was uncomfortable after we tried being intimate, and we both agree we were better as completely platonic friends. Ugh, that was a long story, but that has to be, I don't know. Let me start. Let me start off with the beginning of how I feel about this story. Okay, so first, I understand when a friend wants to be honestly helpful to another friend, and I am totally okay with guys being friends with girls, girls being friends with guys, etc. I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, a girl can't be friends with a guy can't be friends with a girl, blah, blah, blah. And I call BS on that because I have guy friends. My fiance has girlfriends, and we are both very okay with each other's friends. I hang out with his friends, and he hangs out with my friends, and I think we both just have this okay situation, and there's no jealousy anywhere in there, So I so totally am okay with the fact that they could be friends. But I do feel like she's coming off at a very jealous point, and she mentions like in the tiny little update where she's trying to clarify about how she feels like maybe she was the a-hole. She says that they did try to date back in the day and it didn't work out, that the spark was in there or whatnot. And maybe I'm jumping into conclusions, but I feel like someone never stopped having feelings. And someone is currently mad. She might say she's not. She might say that she's only trying to look out for him because he knows how he likes this woman, blah, blah, blah. Or how she's so much different than he is, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But honestly, the way she words things, the way she went to talk to him, that kind of stuff, like, I don't know. I feel like it just comes from a very jealous point. Like, maybe she has realized that she's not totally over Danny, and that him having this girlfriend that has moved in, that kind of stuff, is now kind of like making her feel some type of way. And maybe she doesn't want to say directly or acknowledge that she's feeling this way, but it's quite there. And I don't know, maybe y'all have different opinions on this, but I can see that there is something going on there, and she's probably feeling some type of way about this relationship. Because I feel like if your guy friend was dating this girl, you totally didn't feel like you thought she was doing, something or whatnot. I feel like you wouldn't make him have the question their relationship. I feel like if you were a true friend, you would maybe go out to the girl and be like, hey, have you talked to, in this case, we'll use Danny from the story, and like, have you talked to Danny? And, he's told me before that he doesn't like really revealing clothes, or that, he's not very much into dancing, that kind of stuff, like, is he gonna be okay with this, that kind of stuff, instead of just going to the guy and being like, is it making you uncomfortable that she's dressed this way? Like, like, I just feel like the way she went about it was not the greatest of ways. I feel like it did sound very territorial, like, this is my guy friend, I am trying to make sure he's okay, like, and I'm probably the least person to speak about friend jealousy, because I am very territorial about my friends, and my friends will tell you this straight up. Like, I get very, very, like, this is my friend type of situation, and but I'm also very good at seeing it from other people, and I definitely see it from her. She's being very territorial, and it is not her place to be this way. She could maybe bring up a comment, but without making other people feel bad about it. I feel like that the other girl took it very well, Lucy. That she took it, like, I think most people would have been like, you know what, get out of my house, like, this is my house type of thing. But Lucy took it pretty well, and I mean, I totally understand that if she doesn't want her back, in her house until she apologizes, because I understand that maybe she did cross the line by being like, oh, well, Danny wanted to take me to bed, and that's why he wanted all of y'all to leave. Like, maybe that was a little, like, TMI, especially if you don't know that person like that. Like, if you have been friends forever, like, whatever. But, like, especially if you just, like, barely know this person, like, that's just too much information, Like, you could have been like, oh, well, don't worry about it. It was actually nothing that serious. Danny is totally okay with everything that happened today. Like, something like that. Like, I do feel like she maybe crossed the line with the comment and telling her that, and then making I guess, the first girl, making her feel a little uncomfortable with that comment, So, I don't know. I feel like OP definitely has to get it together and get her feelings sorted out, because I feel like, I'm not victim shaming or anything. I feel like she needs to just really dig deep in there and find out whether she still does. And if she does, kind of like, okay, he has moved on. He is with somebody who obviously makes him feel good, makes him feel happy. They are moved in together. They obviously had to have a really good relationship for them to want to move in together, And her acknowledged that she is going to be now part of his life. And she's going to have to accept that. And instead of making the situation worse, I feel like she could actually, be like, okay, I was a little rude for calling her disgusting, because she doesn't even, she doesn't know her like that, and the other girl doesn't know her like that. They both don't know each other like that to have called each other that way, So I definitely do agree that there needs to be a lot of how do you say, finding within, being okay with their emotions and stuff, and coming to terms with it. The final, like, at the moment, is a hole on this post. Like, it was like, people declare her an a-hole for the way she acted. So I guess I'm not alone on this one, because I was like, girl, like, not your place and not your job. you know there's this saying that I've heard people saying, it was like, let the trash take itself out, or something like that. And I feel like if this person really isn't meant for Danny, then the trash receipt itself out, okay? So I feel like she shouldn't be trying that hard because it just makes her seem possessive. It just makes her seem like a bad person, and she just doesn't need to worry about it, you know? As some people over here, they were like, I thought it was a funny comment. Somebody said, "Oh, I feel like this was a guy who just said that he was a girl and posted about this so we wouldn't be as harsh with them." And I kind of thought that was funny because, like I told y'all from the beginning, I thought when I first saw this, like, you know, title, I thought it was automatically a guy who had posted about this, but no, it was just a girl. And so I totally was like, yeah, I agree with that comment. I am totally on board with that. But I don't know. You guys let us know what you guys thought about this one, because I think this one was really a one of those stories where, like, I think there's a lot more going on there than OP wants to say or admit to herself. So, OP, I wish you the best. I do hope that if you have been friends that long, though, with Danny, I really do hope that Danny realizes that he shouldn't lose a friend over a girlfriend who he's just met. I've always been very big on losing friends because your significant other all of a sudden does not like them. Like, that is a no-no, you know? To me, it is a very, like, big red flag. Like, you shouldn't have to leave your friends because all of a sudden your partner doesn't want them. So I really do hope that Danny doesn't decide that all of a sudden you don't want this person in your life because you've been friends for so long. Like, you've known this person longer than you have known your girlfriend or boyfriend. Unless they're very, very, very toxic people. If your now significant other thinks that this person is very, very toxic for you, then I understand. But other than that, a lot of people are just, they don't like you and they don't like you and they don't want you around type of situation. Not because people are actually toxic, you know? So I really hope that Danny doesn't just leave her because he has a girlfriend now and his girlfriend doesn't like her. So I hope everybody works the situation out. Lucy, Danny, and OP. I hope they find comfort one way or another. And the best to OP on that one, because obviously that one was rough. But you guys let us know in the comments what you guys thought about that one. Okay? And now we would jump on to story number 3. Last story of the day. We're easing it off. Today I feel like I kind of breezed through these stories. I'm sorry if I did. And this one is a very sad story. And I know I always tell y'all I like to end my stories in a happy note. But this story was a little bit of mixture of both. And it's one of those stories where it's very sad, but the outcome of it was a gift to other people. So the story is about a teenage girl. We don't know her. Well, we do know her name. Her name is Maria Fernanda, who was 15 years old, and she tragically got caught in a street fight between criminal groups in Bajío de San Jose in the Mexican state of Aguascalientes while heading to the supermarket with her boyfriend. The teenage girl got hit by a stray bullet, and so she was declared brain dead by the time she got to the hospital. This was very sad and tragic news. A girl who's just barely 15, barely getting to live her life, barely as a Mexican woman or any other Mexican woman out there, we all know that turning 15 is such a significant point in our lives that I know that this girl was just now starting to fully experience her life in a different way, going into womanhood, that to have that taken from her at such a short time, it's sad. And don't get me wrong, I will always be proud of being Mexican. I will always be proud of having been born in Mexico. I'm proud of our roots. I am proud of my parents for coming and taking their journey to be here. The strong people that our immigrant parents are, I will always be proud of that. But sadly, our country is not the greatest. And sadly, violence and all these cartels and all these gangs and everything, it's so common that people are just like, it's just what it is. It is what it is. And like, it's even more sad that sometimes in even certain situations, the people cannot rely on the government or rely in the police or stuff like that to protect them. They rely more on the narcs and the gangs to protect them. And that's so sad. And that's how we've come to accept the fact that they're going to protect them even though they're doing bad stuff. And I don't know how to explain that feeling, because it's totally understandable, because the government is failing them so badly. Yet at the same time, tragedies like this, innocent lives like this are lost. Like, Fernanda did not have to die. She was just going out to the market with her boyfriend, probably to get groceries, probably to get snacks. Who knows? They were just having another day, and all of a sudden she finds herself in this situation, and a stray bullet hits her. And if y'all listen to my last episode, y'all know how I feel about weapons and guns and stuff like that. But with all of that aside, it's so sad that we had to lose a life at such a short time. And I know this happens around the world all the time, but this one meant a lot, meant something, because she died. She ended up donating her liver, her kidneys, and her corneas to 5 people. And now these 5 people have a second chance at life. And I know for her parents, that had to be difficult, That had to be heartbreaking to realize that your baby girl is now gone. And I've said this before, you can sit there and, swallow yourself in your own misery, or you can make something good out of it. And even though she was brain dead, they had her on life support and her organs were still good. And so they decided that was the best way to honor her memory, was donating her organs to somebody who could use them, to somebody who could get a second life through her. And the video is very emotional. The staff from the hospital did a video, and obviously the link to the story will be on our YouTube, and you can go watch the video for yourself. But there actually had her in her quinceañera dress, and she had already, from what I had read in different articles, she had already had her 15. But I guess this just was very beautiful, very significant for her, that they actually carried the surgery through, and she was wearing her red quinceañera dress to the surgery. So it's very heartbreaking, but also very beautiful at the same time to know that she was able to give life to these people. I am an organ donor. I always jokingly joke to people and tell them that I don't know what they could possibly take because my health is not the greatest. But if I ever die and my organs are good enough for them to take them, then take them and give them to somebody who could use them. Because organ list waiting is so long, and these people, like, sometimes I understand that certain people might have been born with it, and I understand that there's some certain people who they're damaged enough to their own body that they now need it. But whatever may be the case, if you can give a second chance to somebody and hope that they make better choices in their lives, I think that's a blessing in itself. I hope that I can be a person like that one day, and I hope it's not too bad. I hope that Dee's family also finds peace in their hearts. I really do, because burying your child, there's always names for everyone. For like, when you use your husband, you're now a widow, that kind of stuff. But there's no name for a mother or a father who has just lost their son, because it's just unnameable. And it's something that no one should have to feel, no parent should have to feel, is to bury their own child. And sadly, they had to do that. But our prayers go out to the family, and I hope that the people who got her organs, I hope that they make the best of choices going forward. I hope that they keep in their hearts that somebody out there, I'm not sure if they know that Fernanda is the one who gave them her organs, but I know there are certain situations where they don't get to find out, and I know there are certain situations where they do get to find out. Whatever may be the case, I hope that they take it to heart, and that they keep pushing forward, and that everything goes well for them, that their body doesn't reject them, that their body pulls through, and that they finally get to go out there and be happy. That's the best thing we can wish for them. But also to the family, I hope that they can one day not have to think about the sadness they had to go through and everything that they had to go through. I hope that there's no anger. I hope that their heart heals. But I know it's just me hoping. I know that I have no idea what it is to lose a son or a daughter. So, for everybody else, keep them in your prayers, keep them in your good vibes. Whatever it is that you do, wish them the best. And this is it. That wasn't the happiest of stories, but I hope that you are happy knowing that organ donors do save lives. And I hope that y'all have a great week. I hope that maybe if you're not an organ donor, you decide that maybe you want to be an organ donor through this story. Whatever may be the case, still support you, whether you don't want to do it or don't want to do it. Everybody has their own choices. But thank you for watching, and I'm so sorry once again about the late episode. And hopefully I will see y'all again next Monday. Y'all be safe. Take care. Enjoy the week. Make the best out of it and make good choices. And bye, everybody. See you next Monday.